Every great build starts with a what if. For me, it was the ghost of a pre-war Speedster, a car that felt like a gentleman's racer from the late 1920s. The foundation is a 1929 Chrysler 75 chassis, a frame with a racing soul that famously competed at Le Mans. It arrived in the shed as a $200 skeleton of rusted steel. Most people saw scrap. I saw the perfect geometry for the Railton-inspired silhouette I had in mind. Then there's the heart of the beast. I found 5 farm-fresh Packard straight-8 engines, all of them seized, all of them incomplete. It was a surgical game of vintage mix and match. I spent days freeing up pistons and measuring cranks, eventually finding enough standard-sized parts to assemble one good 288 cubic inch heart. But the puzzle was missing pieces. With no carby, water pump, or starter motor in sight, I had to look outside the square. I adapted a Holden red motor water pump and a Toyota 9-tooth starter. For that race car vibe, I made some inlet runners, so the straight 8 could breathe through a pair of Weber twin-barrel IDF 40 carbies. It's an exercise in patience, turning 5 lumps of vintage scrap into a fire-breathing machine. One of the biggest hurdles was the Chrysler's unique spring cushions. They haven't been manufactured in decades, and finding replacements is nearly impossible. I refused to cut the chassis for modern shackles. I wanted to keep the Chrysler's engineering DNA intact. After some messy experiments with Sikaflex, I landed on a solution, casting my own cushion rubbers using Flexicar's polyurethane. It's a modern fix for a vintage problem, and it works beautifully. I adapted an I-beam axle from a late 30s Fargo and paired it with a set of Jeep Cherokee brake drums. Remarkably, they have that classic 12-inch Buick finned look that hot rodders pay thousands for, but for about $150 a pair. To keep things pointing straight, I used Land Rover track rods, a Ross steering box from a 1925 Hudson, and a 1932 Buick 4-spoke steering wheel. The handbrake is where the shed engineering really shines. I saw a reproduction Bentley lever for sale online for 1,200 British pounds, that's 2,500 Aussie bucks. Thankfully, the photos were sharp. I reverse engineered it in CAD, had the parts laser cut, and spent some quality time on the lathe and milling machine. The result, a reproduction of a reproduction. It's period correct, adds proper charm, road legal, and cost me a fraction of the price. With the mechanicals sorted, the shape took form. A Jewett radiator shell housing a 1928 Packard radiator sets the tone up front, leading back to a custom firewall and a body built from simple sheets bent into elegant curves. And you can't have a Speedster without the soundtrack. A set of homemade Laker-style pipes and custom curved muffler with a fishtail tip for that deep vintage growl. There is no other sound like it. "12 months of welding, hammering, grinding, and machining led to this, the first movement under its own power. Seeing it roll out into the daylight, you realize it's no longer just a collection of parts from different farms and wrecking yards. It's a car. It's a 1929 Chrysler Speedster, resurrected for a second life. This build was about more than just restoration. It was about proving that history can always be reinvented with a bit of shed engineering." 1929 never looked or sounded so good.